Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so I've been doing some more thinking about the idea of the Lakers having an opportunity to trade for De'Aaron Fox. I really think it makes a lot of sense to try to get involved. I am the guy that doesn't want to trade away picks, but I definitely want to win a trade sweepstakes for a guy like De'Aaron Fox. You know, one of the things that I said a couple of weeks ago was we don't have athleticism on our team, we don't have speed, and we don't have a leading guard that we can trust. And one of the problems that I think about when considering that is the fact that we have trouble guarding people like De'Aaron Fox, Ja Morant, Jaden Ivey, guys like that. De'Aaron Fox is one of those main names that come to mind with the Lakers' struggles. And I just feel like if there's any chance we can erase that problem by literally acquiring that player, we could potentially set ourselves up for not only this era, but the next, in regards to having that not be a problem for us anymore. And that's what really motivates me to want to kind of go all in for De'Aaron Fox. I understand that we could be tanking in the future because, of course, if we keep our picks and LeBron leaves and AD leaves, those picks could be very good. But I also believe that if you bring in De'Aaron Fox and you keep AD, now suddenly those picks don't look as good. You change the trajectory of what your team looks like between now and 2029, 2030, for which them picks ultimately represent. You got De'Aaron Fox and you got Anthony Davis aging. De'Aaron Fox probably won't even be 30 at that point. Now suddenly those picks don't look as good. In theory, especially if you can re-sign De'Aaron Fox, which I have every reason he probably will re-sign with us if he comes to the Lakers. So the question I have is, if he hits free agency for any reason, is there a chance we could sign him outright without having to give up anything 2 years from now? And does that really make sense to Laker fans who need to win right now based on LeBron and AD being in place? That's why I'm like, you know what, I don't really care too much about that. I'll still make a trade for De'Aaron Fox. So, this is why I'm on the mindset that if the Lakers want to get involved for De'Aaron Fox, he's one of those names that I go all in for. And that's what I want people to understand. He's probably the lowest tier of player that I would go all in for, but he does reach that criteria for me to say, all right, I'm going to throw in basically everything not named Bron and AD and a great deal of pick equity, whatever we can reach, whatever we can throw in. So Lakers say they'll throw in 3 picks. I probably won't allow that to hold up the trade for me. And you guys know how much some picks mean to me. And I also understand how serious it is if we give up picks and our team is no good them years. But the idea is that those picks will be very good because we won't be any good. If you bring in De'Aaron Fox and build properly around him, you will be good enough to make those picks not very good. And at that point, it makes sense to not have them in your pocket, is in theory, because nothing's set in stone. But there are certain players in this league that you have to be willing to go after. And I think De'Aaron Fox, with his speed and his overall lethal scoring ability, his defensive ability, which is not elite, but is shown to be elite in college against Lonzo Ball, for which we won't forget, he's the type of player that I'd probably throw in everything to get. I don't really believe the Lakers have a combination of players outside of Bron and AD that I probably wouldn't be willing to move in a trade for De'Aaron Fox. I'm just being honest with you. In a nutshell, I don't think so. Now, do I believe in a 3-star model? Not really. Do I want to give up picks in Austin and DK and Max and all these players? I honestly don't. I'm not going to lie to you. I honestly don't. There is probably somewhere in the negotiations where I will get cold feet. But the fact that he's only making $34 million for the next 2 years is a very good contract. The fact that he doesn't want to be in Sacramento and everybody knows that takes the leverage away from Sacramento, which helps me understand that I probably don't have to give up everything to get him. Although I don't think we're the leading candidates to get him, which could change that dynamic back on its axis. Meaning, if San Antonio and Houston want to go all in, suddenly we don't have the best package, regardless if we go all in or not. So I'm not a fool as to say that we're the leaders to get De'Aaron Fox. I honestly think Sacramento is probably going to find better packages elsewhere. But let's just assume that because of his clutch affiliations, that Clutch wants to send him Los Angeles way. I am a firm believer that if the Lakers are serious about having win now mentality with this unit, you got to try to win that trade. You got to try to win that. I mean, there's a million scenarios where I regret that. I'm going to be honest with you. There's a million scenarios. Injuries, Bron going down, all types of stuff that can make that a terrible decision for the Lakers. But I think the idea of acquiring the fastest player in basketball, one of the most lethal scorers in basketball, and ultimately one of the best fourth quarter players in basketball, does make me say, you know what, I probably should try to do this if I'm the LA Lakers. I should have drafted him instead of Lonzo Ball. But then again, I probably would have taken Jason Tatum over him, obviously. But just in theory, like, when you look back on what it is you should have did, you definitely shouldn't have left Jason Tatum or De'Aaron Fox on the board. And so when I look at that situation, De'Aaron Fox should have been a Laker the whole time. It does sting when considering how much we have to give up, including draft picks, for which who knows could be the next De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox was once a draft pick, giving up draft picks. But it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? I want people to understand that if I have De'Aaron Fox, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis, I have a contending team. Now, that doesn't mean in a nutshell it's as simple as that. You got to make sure your surrounding pieces make sense. You want to have stuff with that so that they can stay healthy and still have a decent team, so that you can make it through the playoffs and different this and that. But I think about what type of player I want if Bron retires. De'Aaron Fox meets the level of that criteria for me. I got a star there and I got a star there. I should be in the playoffs every year with those two. And so that's really what my thinking is, man. I don't really know if the Lakers are going to do this. Like I said, San Antonio has a great chance of making that happen for themselves with the picks that they have and then the motivation to bring a win now piece to Wemby. I think it makes a lot of sense to try to do that. Houston has a bunch of young players. They can match the salary with Green rather easily. If I'm Sacramento, I would probably love to have that player and maybe some picks or whatever if we can pull that off. But at the end of the day, just from a Laker perspective, you want to throw your hat in that situation. And you don't want to lowball the Kings, knowing that they have better suitors. You know, one of the questions when trying to make a trade is, who am I bidding against? Well, in this conversation, somebody with more than you is what the answer is there. Someone with more than you. So if they want to turn their attention to you, you don't play around. The Lakers have said that they've been willing to throw in 3 picks for a star, put next to Anthony Davis and LeBron James just as much as 3 days ago. I think you should do that if you're serious about bringing in Fox. I would trust that you would do your homework to make sure Fox is the right piece. As we talked about yesterday, some things were said about him that made me wonder if he has the heart or is the leader or what have you. But we're not bringing him in to be a leader. If anything, we're bringing him in to be a number 3. A very expensive number 3, but somebody who can shift to being number 2 or number 1 at any moment. And I think some of the motivating factors behind De'Aaron Fox maybe not playing up to his level is just off of the sheer fact that he's in Sacramento for one, for a extended period of time, and they ain't really been winning anything. I think he would be extremely rejuvenated and extremely motivated to be a Laker early on, and hopefully he wouldn't take his foot off the gas while being here. But, you know, that's a hopefully. It's not a whole lot of faith in hopefullys, to be honest. But for us, I think that this is the type of piece that I would be willing to go all in for. Start giving away pieces I don't want to give up. Start giving away picks I don't want to give away. This is the type of piece where it becomes an offer you can't refuse. And so that's what I wanted to say. If the Lakers want to make an all-in bid for De'Aaron Fox, a 25-year-old speed demon that scores like the wind and as clutch as they come, I would probably shake a hand on that. I would definitely okay that. That's what I'm trying to say. There's always limits to what it is I'm willing to throw in based on my conservative nature with picks and players. But I'm not going to say that anything on our team is more valuable than De'Aaron Fox right now outside of LeBron and AD, including those picks. It's just not. It's not. The picks could potentially be, but the presence of De'Aaron Fox dilutes the value of the picks. So as soon as Sacramento get them, they're not as valuable. That's the truth. Those as long as we don't have De'Aaron Fox, those picks project to look really good. You put De'Aaron Fox on the Lakers, those picks don't look that great. Not nearly as great. And so that's what I want to say. I just think the Lakers should give that a shot. He's a 30-point scorer. A lot of nights, speed demon is very difficult to guard. You want this player on your team, man. And I think a lot of teams will be wise to try to get him if they're serious contenders. I think there's some teams that haven't talked about picking up De'Aaron Fox that should be interested in picking up De'Aaron Fox too. Maybe some teams that have some point guards that look really good. Maybe you need to you need to probably upgrade there. I think of a team like Cleveland. Would I give up Garland for Fox? Yep. Hell yeah, I would. Like literally, yes. So like these are things that we have to be honest about, man. You can't teach the speed of De'Aaron Fox. That's one thing's for certain. You can't teach that speed. I don't think there's 3 players in this league faster than him, dude. I really don't. And so I just want people to understand that my reverence for De'Aaron Fox, I think, comes from the fact that I'm a Western Conference fan. Been a fan, you know. A lot of people in the Eastern Conference don't really know Fox that well. They ain't watching too much Sacramento ball. They don't know what he can do. They don't really know how good this player is. In the West, we have to see him 4 times a year. This dude been kicking our butt since he was drafted. We barely beat this dude. Barely. And so for me, I have extreme reverence for his game. And although people have said some things over the last 24 hours about Fox that didn't make me feel too good, I also trust my eyes over the last 6-7 years. However long it's been, 8 years. I trust my eyesight. This is one of the most elite scorers of his generation, man, period. Now, he hasn't had a chance to win. He also hasn't been anywhere outside of Sacramento. Let's just be honest. He ain't winning nothing. And so, get him out of there, put him in purple and gold, and 5 is probably going to go up in the rafters just off of the strength of what his talent is going to bring. He totally goes up in the rafters. He played here for 5 years. He's going up in the rafters. Easy. And we win championships when we have talent like Fox on our team. That's just what it is. And so for me, are there some guys I'd rather have than Fox? Yeah, naturally. There are. Are any of them as fast as him? Hell no. They're going to have a hard time guarding him too. And that's the reality of it. He's that kind of elite. He really is, man. So when you're going up against Anthony Edwards, you want De'Aaron Fox on your team. When you're going up against Donovan Mitchell, you want De'Aaron Fox on your team. You know, when you're going up against Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, you want De'Aaron Fox on your team. That's what I know. That's what I'm certain of. When you're going up against Steph Curry, you want De'Aaron Fox on your team. And if you're drafting with those picks several years from now, you're hoping you find a guy like De'Aaron Fox. So, with all that being said, I think we shouldn't really have any reservations about picking this player up. $34 million of salary match, picks. He's the type of player where I have to just bow away from being conservative with my picks and just say, yo, try to get the player. And we'll worry about turning him into picks later if we need to. Or maybe it won't be necessary because he'll extend our timeline into some spaces that we want to be in. For Rob Pelinka, this is an important thing because if he is okay with making a trade like this, it could probably save his job. It really can. It makes all this waiting that people have been perceiving him doing as worth it. And it's the kind of thing that I've been telling us to do. You know, if I'm being honest, this is what I was talking about when I said hold your chips in hand. Wait for something that could open up that you don't see possible and then pull the trigger on that. This is what we talked about in the offseason. This is what we talked about several times over. It's why you hold on to your picks besides the fact that you want to draft them for your own reasons. It's because as the season begins, things like this happen. Now, if y'all remember those videos that I made when I was talking like that, this is what I was talking about. You didn't see De'Aaron Fox being available back in the summertime when y'all was talking about trading away picks for this and that and the third. Now it's possible, if not reasonable, to think that we can be in the mix for this dude. If we would have gave away our picks for Dorian Finney-Smith and Walker Kessler, we ain't got no chance of getting De'Aaron Fox. This is what we were talking about. And if you can't get Fox, there'll be another. There will be another. You don't know who it's going to be tomorrow. It might be Wemby tomorrow. It might be Anthony Edwards tomorrow. It might be, what's his face, over Maxey in Philly. You don't know who's going to find themselves tired of the situation they're in. Giannis. You understand what I'm saying? This is why I'm conservative with my picks and I'm not willing to give them away for role players because I need to be able to have them ready to move when a guy like De'Aaron Fox decides he wants to make a move. And he don't want to be where he's at. Because one of the first places they're going to say is, what's up with the Lakers? And the Lakers got to be able to have that gunpowder to be able to pull the trigger. And that is what I've been talking about for over 3 years now. Over 3 years now. This is not a new type of conversation, but it is the example that I think is most relevant for what it is we've been talking about. It's why you don't give your picks away. But when it's time to give your picks away, when something like this comes around, you don't continue to say, I'm still holding picks. When the big player comes around and say, yo, I want to be a Laker, that's when you say, okay, let's move. Okay, let's move. You see what I'm saying? There's a balance to everything. As conservative as I am, once you tell me De'Aaron Fox is on the move and he may want to come here, that's when I say, okay, it's time for me to cash out. Let's cash out. The risk is worth it. If everything goes wrong, I could trade this dude for the same picks I gave away. Let's cash out. So that's where I stand on that, man. I don't think the Lakers can get De'Aaron Fox. I give us like a 25% of getting him. That's a little better than most people's odds. Because I think that his ties to want to stay in California and his ties to Clutch and our win now timeline maybe make us a bit more attractive than other places that maybe will be able to outbid us. I don't know if he wants to move to San Antonio. Wemby's a hell of a player to play with, but I don't know if he, I don't know if he wants to move there. Houston, I think he's from Houston. You keep that in mind. And I think that would be a great place for him. So I don't doubt that he would love to play for the Houston Rockets. But, that Bron AD situation, you could really, you're talking about experience that can eventually get him a championship rather quickly. Houston, they don't know what they're doing out there, and he ain't a leader from what I've understood. So he would kind of just be in the mix. I don't know. Can he win a championship in Houston? I don't know. Can he beat OKC in Houston? I don't know. Maybe. You know what I'm saying? Houston's probably the most attractive Western Conference team to me for him, to be honest with you. But this Bron AD thing, the timeline is a certain thing. The type of money he can make as a Laker is a whole nother thing, especially when they get the hell out of here, which is imminent. It will be his team, along with somebody else that we'd be able to bring in. Him, AD. AD ain't in his way as far as making the type of top dollar he can make, both on and off the court with the Lakers. If LeBron James shakes, I think it makes a whole lot of sense for him to want to be a Laker over those other two places based on the opportunities financially that could be coming his way for being a Laker. So if he's about his money, he may want to come to the Lakers off the strength of that. You can get lost in Houston. You can get lost in San Antonio. LA, we watching you. And everybody's going to be buying your jersey. You got them purple and gold shoes. You want whatever team. Who is it? Steph Curry and them? Ain't that who he's with? That's a lot of money to make with a new shoe deal after that, being on the Los Angeles Lakers. So, it's a lot. He's going to make more money with us than anywhere else. That's a fact. And given the fact that he's already been in Sacramento, he probably wants to stay in Los Angeles or in the California area, rather. And this will give him a chance to do that. So that's what I got to say, man. I think the Lakers got a 25% chance. I don't think it's a great chance, but it's 25%. Video 44. I thank y'all for watching. Come on.